Teacups, what's brewing? Welcome back to the channel. Some of you will be relieved to hear we are going recap style today because man, has Chantal been putting out the content. Like there's been a lot of it. It's been like giving shades of COVID in some ways because like just being stuck inside and not having, well, supposedly stuck inside. She wasn't really one for doing that during COVID, was she? But being stuck inside with nothing but her thoughts to escape to and then needing the outlet of the internet, except it's had far less interest because she's no longer doing journeys down the long road. But unlike in COVID, I am not willing to cut down the hours of content she has put out. I don't know how many hours it was. There were several lives, there were several videos. So we're just doing it this way. I'm going to summarize for you. Now, before we get started with the actual content, we are still on track for her needing to travel. I think it's in the first few days of July. Oh, you might hear some sounds coming from next door. I think maintenance are in there getting it ready. The school sometimes like rent out some of the housing so that people can come and do seminars and stuff in the buildings. So they are on and off today. Oh, saying that, my neighbour isn't leaving, so they shouldn't be in her apartment. I might have to go check on that. So Chantal mentioned, possibly in the Chinese takeout live, it seems like this would be the kind of conversation she'd have, that she needs to practice with chopsticks because they might travel to Japan. Well, she doesn't say might travel. She says, what if we go to Japan? But she has mentioned Japan before. It seems to be in their tentative plans. Whether it's going to be this time or not, I don't know, because how serious she is changes from day to day. And I was expecting a little just hop over the border or drive over a border even, just to kind of keep it quiet and cheap this time around. But then she has really been going for it with the videos. So that makes me think she wants to ensure a better payday. Now, her payday for this month is already set. We're going to talk about that later, but she would get the money she's earning now next month, which is also why I'm kind of on the, okay, do a little border hop for the visa and then do travel, you know? Can I also say, as somebody who has lived in Japan, her in Japan would be quite something. They would chew her up and spit her out. I would watch. She would be hiding in a hotel within minutes. Like her being pushed into a packed metro train because it gets so full, they hire the conductor, not the conductor people, what are they? The people who stand on the platform, like they're there to help you be pushed in when it's packed. I would watch it. I've kind of been having trouble deciding what to react to with her content recently, if we're going to call it content, because in her mukbang, she mostly makes a point of not talking about anything. So it's mostly like, tell me if you guys have ever eaten more Chinese food in the comments. Because she can't make a conversation because she said she's not going to. Excuse me, I've got yet another cough. Turns out the kids did get me before the end of school. And that means that her mukbangs have been pretty empty. And it's a lot of content saying nothing, even for her. Even by her own high standards, it's a lot. Her Chinese food mukbang doesn't really have anything else of importance in other than like quite a tired story that may or may not be true from early childhood about her going to Toronto and accidentally happening upon an actual Chinese food place instead of like a mall or North America style one. So her next live was Girl World Pictionary, which started as a members only live and then switches to open chat because she could not get enough activity to sustain it. It was basically her mods. She complains about her coffee being too hot and then she doesn't understand why she's drowsy. Based on my calculations when I first watched this, I think it was about 1 a.m, so I'm not confused as to why she'd be drowsy. And that's not even counting any of the medical reasons she could be about to pass out. So there we go. But it would seem like an explanation. However, let's move on. She claims she's not going to eat Chinese food for a while because it's too salty, which should have been obvious, but would be fair. However, she seems to be forgetting when she pulled out the bag of sauces, took out the side of soy sauce and dumped it on her already probably soy sauce filled noodles. Like, that would be a way to help yourself, just don't do that. Well, there'd be lots of ways to help yourself, but let's be realistic. Don't do that one. Chantal said she's going to play Pictionary, but instead of making people guess, just starts saying, I'm going to draw this person and drawing them. YouTube selected her version of me to grace her thumbnail, so I will give it to you. I think she was trying to pick a fight, but no one picked up. I think she just wanted a little bit of drama to kind of enhance views, hoping for a little bit of a rage so she could have another go. But when I checked today, she was at about 6,500 views, which is about what my grocery haul got the other day. So, I think that didn't really work. She goes on a little bit about how she's afraid to get in elevators again because Kuwait is starting a period of rolling blackouts if the electricity consumption gets too high for them to sustain. And I believe her area is included in that. She had a power cut the other day where the power's off for about 3 hours. I realise people may not want to hear this. Unpopular opinion, yeah. But if I was ever going to sympathise, I have had my power cut out in Saudi Arabia, and after 4 or 5 hours, they realised power wasn't going to come on to the parts of the compound that were effective, and they put us in a fancy hotel. I think I've actually got a vlog. Is it here or is it on the other channel? It might be on the other channel. It's called When Good Electricity Goes Bad. Yeah. That 5 hours was hard. It was hard. And they wouldn't have put us up in the fancy hotel if they thought they could fix it. Yeah. When you turn off AC, when you turn off things here, it gets hot again immediately. Your apartment doesn't really hold the cool because it's just too hot. So she doesn't really open her windows or whatever. Like, if I was ever going to sympathise, that would be the moment. I don't find her a very sympathetic person, but other people I would sympathise with in that situation because it is awful. I checked the temperature last night. I woke up coughing at about 3 o'clock, and it was like I picked up my phone to check something and accidentally hit the weather app because I do that sometimes. And it was 35 degrees with a real feel of 40 at 3 a.m. So, it gets up there. But anyway, back to the point, she doesn't want to maybe get stuck in an elevator. And there's been warnings about using them between the hours of whatever it is, 11 and 5, I think. I mean, she's rarely awake during those hours, but if she needed more of a reason to stay in, there it is. She does a few suggestions from the chat about who to draw, and then she gets bored and starts whining that she can't draw. Additional, potentially unpopular opinion. I don't care that Chantal does these little drawings. I think any hobby outside of YouTube would benefit her at the moment. And if she chose to develop it, which we all know she won't, it would actually be an activity for her. Like, she could stick to caricatures because that seems to be her preference, but she could develop them. They're a caricature artist. It is a skill. And I know usually that she just does it quickly so she can say, oh, I'm doing it in a rush, it doesn't matter. Like, she embraces how bad it is so she doesn't have to improve, and it's a style in and of itself. But, she could use YouTube as a resource to help her learn, and it would give her something else to focus on. But then I remember she doesn't want to learn, so it's pointless discussing this, I suppose. I do think she's going to milk this for a while, and based on the future lives, she kept coming in with the drawings and with paper and with things. So she may end up doing it again on the stream. I'm in two minds about, the absolutely bonkers, drawn mini videos she did. On one hand, it is the most creative she was in a long time, but on the other, they were terrible. So I don't really want them back, but I have a feeling she might go for them because she's lacking other ideas. She has really been strapped for content outside of just eating. Speaking of, the conversation moves to how expensive how expensive Western takeout is, because everything Western is terrible. But genuinely, the big chains Chili's, Applebee's, those kind of things, they are very expensive in the Middle East, but she's the one who picks to eat there, so there you go. She did a mukbang trying out Mr. Beast burgers, which triggered a memory for me. I was like, isn't Mr. Beast, I don't know if he's in court now, but he was having court proceedings because either he sued the kitchen or the kitchen sued him because he wanted, oh, maybe they sued him because he wanted out of the contract because he felt like they were producing crap, but they were just putting his name on it. So they were using his name, but not focusing on the quality of the product. And I might be misremembering some of that. I feel like, I haven't watched Emily D. Baker for a while, but I feel like she covered it for a while or a while ago. I don't know. But Chantal tells us it's going to be a real food review. I think she might be hoping the algorithm will help her out and with his name in the title. And she also references another creator's review. It seems to be on a vertical orientation. Couldn't think of the word then. A vertical orientation. So she may have taken it off TikTok. She may have taken it off of YouTube Shorts. I don't know. Her major takeaway of this seems to be that the burger is soft, which is an odd adjective for a burger. I understand like the bread bun, but the burger is soft. But her priority with it seems to be that you don't have to chew it, which does make sense and is historically something she has valued, as it both helps her to eat the food faster. And I know there's been conversations about her potential teeth issues, so she prefers food she can just hoover down. And she does say it makes it easier to inhale. So at least that is a bit of honesty. The burger gets a good review, not surprisingly, because it's exactly what she looks for in food. Later, I don't know what days we're on now. They're all pretty close to each other. Later, she has a quite clickbaity, depressed no snacks live, and she is less pleased with the burger because apparently it was 950 calories for the burger and 550 for the fries, so the meal altogether was 1,500. The reason she's unhappy, which of course is labelled as depressed because she can't have an emotion without it being a diagnosis, is because she decided to start counting calories that day, first day, and she put it into MyFitnessPal and only has just over 100 calories left, so she can't have movie snacks. She says tracking is at least a step, but seriously, why? I mean, at this point, if MyFitnessPal is telling her like 1990 calories. Has she not remembered her mukbangs recently? Like, she is smashing them and she knows what she eats behind camera, even if she tells us we don't. She mentions destroying a load of sunflower seeds, which are very calorie dense. Like, the point of tracking food is so you realize that you go, oh, I should adjust this. And she never gets to step 2. Oh, a slightly interesting thing, a slightly interesting confirmation. She says she had some noodles and she could only eat a quarter, which I find unrealistic, but not the point. Because they were requested that she eat on Cameo. That's a weird sentence. Because somebody requested that she eat it on Cameo. There we go. Someone in chat clocks this and is like, wait, you do eating requests on Cameo? And she's like, no, but if someone requests on Cameo, I don't mind it. So, yes, then, you're accepting eating requests on Cameo. I mean, we're not surprised, but I don't like it. There's something just a little bit seedier about the fact that she's got that behind like a $25 charge. I feel it's more likely to guide certain members of her audience to her. And the only reason to mention that on live is if she's hoping more will come. But back to the snack she wants. She said she'll just have to wait until tomorrow, and it's not like she's going to eat fast food tomorrow. Well, I don't know, were her exact words. She claims she doesn't have fast food every day. That hasn't been our experience, but there we go. She's craving home cooked, but doesn't want to do groceries again. That actually makes sense to me because it's currently the 22nd here, right? But it was the 21st when she was filming this, and it was a Friday. So even if she had been paid on the first day of when YouTube sends the payments, which America and Canada seem to get quicker than the international ones, I usually get paid around the 24th-ish, depending on how the calendar falls. But the work week in the Middle East runs from Sunday to Thursday. So you have 3 days there where like the Middle Eastern bank won't process it or the Canadian bank won't process it, because once you hit Friday, they're not going to receive it. Saturday, it's closed. Sunday, the Canadian bank will be closed. So even if she got paid, she probably can't get the money over to herself yet. Well, I say herself, I mean Salah's bank account, because she can't have a bank account herself on her status. So when people say, well, she's paying Salah, yes and no. He is a vehicle for transfer, and then I imagine they keep the money in his account and they spend it that way. So that's probably why Foodie gets to eat whatever she gets to eat, other than the fact that Salah seems to have the spine of a wet sponge, because, she's sending the money, it's her money. All that to say, she's very close to payday, which means her money is probably running low, especially if they are saving to travel the way she claims they are. So as I mentioned, it turns out she overdid the sunflower seeds, and if she's then gone into like tracking calories, I'm guessing she binged her face off behind the scenes. Whether it was just on sunflower seeds, whether it was on whatever she could get out of the fridge, we don't know. But something prompted her to write down her calories today. It doesn't really feel like a new health arc though. You know that feeling we get, like she'll get paid and she'll be done with it, I think. But for today, she took her meds, she put collagen in her coffee, and she's going to try not to eat for the rest of tonight. Spoiler alert, at some point in one of the lives, maybe the one in the middle of the night that came after this, she is eating. So she did not succeed. Someone tells her she can have unbuttered popcorn for 100-calorie snack. And after a few healthy suggestions from chat, she says quite dramatically, I'd rather not eat at all. She doesn't even want to watch a movie with no snacks. She lashes out a little bit about people asking about Ghostface and her having a minor in her chat. And she's like, how do you know? We know because Ghostface wrote a long post explaining how he turned 16 now and was a better person than he was when he was only 15. And so he's a good person now. That's how we know. So she tries to kind of redirect the argument by being like, it's weird that you know, dude, he put it on the internet. And she says, if you're a minor scram, what can I do? You could try remembering the checkered history your channel has with minors and maybe take it a bit more seriously. Now, is it realistic to say that she should know the age of everybody in her chat? No. And people might hate me for saying that, but no, it's not realistic. You don't know who your subscribers are. But having had it confirmed, maybe a conversation with Ghostface saying this might not be the most appropriate place for you, or maybe just switch your thing to adults only, and then you have made a move to protect your live stream. So if anything did happen, okay, well, if he comes in and he says he's over 18, that's not her fault. But I'm guessing that would affect the monetization, so she won't do it. That sets her off a little bit, so she rants about reactors for a while. Nothing unusual, just certain reactors should be ashamed of earning money for their kids this way, and how must the kid feel if they get a bike because of the reactor money and all of that. Her live, because I can't sleep, basically has nothing in it. It's 4 a.m., they couldn't decide on a movie, I'm guessing because no snacks. She didn't want to watch a movie, she wanted an excuse to sit there with a bucket of whatever she was going to eat. No Name gives a $100 super chat, and I'm like, okay, that was a choice, but okay, it's your money. It's a little weird, the thing that struck me in this live. Supposedly Salah is there, she's in the front room in the dark initially, which indicates that maybe he was sleeping in their bedroom and maybe she didn't want to disturb him, but he's actually modding the chat and modding it from the beginning. So there's no reason for her to be sitting in the dark in her living room as if to give him privacy. Draw your own conclusions from it, but it was weird. And that was about everything. So either congratulations or commiserations, you are now more or less caught up. That's everything I have for you today. I hope you're having a good day, and I will edit this and see you next time. Thank you very much.